Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to First Parish in Framingham. Spring has sprung, and we are delighted to have you join us on this beautiful Easter Sunday morning. What a great day it is to be alive as we celebrate this day of rebirth and rejuvenation. My name is Terry Dixon. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm honored to serve as the ministerial intern here at First Parish and also at UU Wellesley Hills. And I will be your worship associate this morning. We are a welcoming and affirming congregation, so whoever you are, whatever your religious beliefs, whomever you love, whatever your gender identity, however you move about in the world, and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. You're also welcome, no matter how you are joining us, either during this time of worship here in the meeting house, or online, or whenever you may choose to watch this service in the future. There are many activities happening here at First Parish over the next few weeks, so please be sure to read the announcements in the order of service. And immediately following worship, you are invited to join us for coffee over at Scott Hall across the courtyard. And also, please do not forget that right after the service, we are going to be having an Easter egg hunt. So please make sure to join in that. And now, if you would just make sure to turn your phones or other devices to their most worshipful mode, either off or just on vibrate. And while electronic noises can be distracting, we do welcome your human noises, especially your singing and your laughter. So, to the extent you are willing and able, please do join in. Every Easter Sunday since 1701, people have gathered as this community to celebrate and commiserate, to rest or recharge, to be challenged or affirmed. Those people are like you. You belong here. Maybe only for the next hour, but we hope for longer. We are happy to have you with us. So now, I invite you to take a deep, comfortable breath in and out. And continue to take a few more breaths and to release whatever you need to let go of, to be more fully present to yourself, to one another, and to the sacred in this time and place. Now, I have to say there's a bit of a problem here at the moment. My script is blank. I've no idea what we're doing next. It's a bit of a mystery, Easter mystery. Something about eggs. There was this little note that the Easter Bunny left, I think. It does say something about eggs.
The hymn board is also blank.
I don't know what we're doing. Well, this note does say, but apparently there are 7 eggs hidden around the meeting house somewhere. Oh, and the Easter Bunny says that if you're young or young of heart, you should go and search for them because they're somewhere around. And apparently that's going to help us lead this service. So if you all want to get up and try and find the eggs, that would be great. Oh, we got one? Any more? Any more eggs? Hooray, great. Oh, another one. Terrific. Yeah, there are apparently 7 of them altogether.
All right, so we got 1, we got 2, 3.
And the Easter Bunny says when you find them, you should open them up and say, apparently there's something inside. Who knows? Yeah. Have we found them all yet? Oh, one more. Excellent. Well done.
So what's in egg one?
I don't know. Has anybody found the eggs? Has anybody found it? If you open them up, apparently the Easter Bunny says there's a message inside each one. So if you find an egg, please open it up and let's see what it says inside.
All right, so we have egg one.
Okay, we have egg number 1. Great.
All right, everyone.
Okay. We found one, though. We found egg number 1. And this says chalice lighting.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we light the chalice? Oh, thank you. You hold on to that one. You hold on to that one for now, okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll read it out later, okay? But thank you. You take that back to your seat, okay? Thank you. Okay, so... Well, in that case, I think we know what to do next, which is the chalice lighting. And as we know, a flame within a chalice is a symbol of our Unitarian-Universalist faith. We make this place sacred and this time holy by kindling our chalice flame. And this morning we will light our chalice with these words by Langston Hughes. In time of silver rain. In time of silver rain, the earth puts forth new life again. Green grasses grow, and flowers lift their heads, and over all the plain the wonder spreads of life, of life, of life. In time of silver rain, the butterflies lift silken wings to catch a rainbow cry, and trees put forth new leaves to sing in joy beneath the sky. As down the roadway, passing boys and girls go singing too. In time of silver rain, when spring and life are new. Okay, and I guess we now need to find the second egg. Does somebody have egg number 2?
You do. All the way back there. Can I see what is in egg number 2? Thank you. Oh, okay.
What's it say, Reverend Aaron?
Egg number 2. Hymn 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. Let us now rise in body or spirit to sing.
For
And please remain standing as we sing our song of affirmation and say our spoken affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To seek together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve all life with compassion, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God.
You may be seated.
Yes. And I think now we are looking for egg number 3. If somebody has egg number 3.
Egg number 3, time for all ages.
House. At the end of the story, if you're treating it like this is something that could really happen, you're going to have a bunch of questions about, like, a 9-year-old running a lighthouse. So I recommend listening as if this story is an allegory, which is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning. This story isn't really about a lighthouse, but it is a story about resurrection, which means the revitalization or revival of something. The grandpa in this story has given new life to the Lighthouse of Souls, a story by Ariel A. Almada and translated into English by John Brokenbrow. On their birthday, most children receive gifts like storybooks, rag dolls, colored pencils, and maybe if they've been really, really good, they get a bike. But on Leo's 9th birthday, his grandpa gave him nothing less than an old, weather-beaten lighthouse. "What's a lighthouse for?" asked Leo as they climbed up the path along the cliffs on the seashore. "A long, long time ago, it helped to stop ships from running into the aground into the rocks," said his grandpa, stroking his long beard. "But in recent years, I've been using it for something quite different. Now that this lighthouse is yours, you'll need to listen very carefully to what I'm going to tell you tonight." By the time they reached the top of the cliff, the sun had gone down, and the first stars were starting to twinkle in the sky. Leo's grandpa turned on the lantern in the lighthouse. Here we go. Watching carefully as it swept from left to right along the horizon and making sure that everything was working properly. Then he began to do something very strange indeed. First, he put his hands together and made the shape of a bird, projecting its shadows onto the clouds. Yeah, maybe. Yay! Look, Leo, it's just like a swallow. It reminds us that all of the things that we miss with all our heart always come back, just like the swallows in the springtime. Then the old man wiggled his fingers, making the shadow bird move. Leo looked at him a little doubtfully, without really understanding what his grandpa was doing, but Grandpa seemed so enthusiastic that Leo did not want to say anything. Then his grandpa began to switch the lantern on and off. First he did 3 short flashes, then a long flash, then 2 long flashes, as he calmly puffed away on his pipe with a big smile on his face. And now, my beloved grandson, it's my favorite time of the night, he said, and he began to blow huge clouds of smoke from his pipe out the window until they covered the whole sky over the sea. Remember, this is an allegory. Quick, Leo, bring me that wooden box in the corner. So Leo brought it over, and his grandpa began to pull out a series of transparent sheets with brightly colored pictures on them. You're going to show a movie on the clouds, shouted Leo, grinning from ear to ear. Finally, he was beginning to feel just as excited as his grandpa. And yet, this isn't just any old movie, said the old man with just as big a smile on his face. Every night, it's a different story. And tonight, it's an adventure about pirates who fall in love with lost mermaids. Terry, put that up closer to the, yeah, oh, nope, farther away. Oh, there we go. There's the ship. So get ready because we're about to begin. That's a mermaid. It's a mermaid, I promise you. When his grandpa finally turned off the lantern in the lighthouse, it was nearly dawn, and the sun was starting to warm up the snails on the rocks at the seashore. As they carefully climbed down the cliff, Leo's grandpa whispered, "Do you remember the shadow of the swallow I made with my hands? That was for all of the fishermen's spouses who stay awake at night worrying until they see the boats on the horizon heading back home. Our little game is to remind them that they will soon be back together with their loved ones." "What about when you were turning the lantern on and off?" asked Leo. "That is Morse code. All of the seafarers know it. Every night, I tell a story to cheer up old Monty, who lives alone on an island 5 miles out to sea. Since he stopped working at sea, he's always grumpy." "So, do you do this every night, Grandpa?" asked Leo, absolutely amazed. "I do. I come here after the sun has set to help people who are lost and just need to feel a little encouragement and hope, or to hear a little story to help them get through the night. Like the movie you projected onto the smoke from your pipe," said Leo. "Exactly, just like that movie," said his grandpa, turning around to look for the last time at what had once been his lighthouse. Leo and his grandpa walked together in silence along the path that wound its way down into the village. When they reached Leo's house, his grandpa gave him a hug, enveloping him in the salty smell of the sea, reminding him that from now on, he was in charge of turning on that lantern and telling stories. Then his grandpa slowly took off his sailor's cap and put it on the little boy's head. He winked at him, and then slowly walked off down the street, whistling a song as old as the wind. Thank you.
This is the time in our service when we share things that weigh deepest on our hearts, our milestones, our happy and sad occasions. We share them because joy shared is joy expanded, and sorrow shared can feel as though someone is sharing our burden. You can submit your joys or sorrows either online or by writing them in this book that is normally kept at the back of the sanctuary. And we will intersperse our sharings with the song, "There is a Love." We do this so that our joys and sorrows can be held with song, but also so that you might have a song on your heart when you are joyful or sorrowful. And we'll begin with the sorrows and concerns of our gathered community. Diane Bassett has a sorrow. She's thinking of her sister, whose joyful work in AmeriCorps is coming to an end because of the indiscriminate dismantling of government by Doge. And Ben Long also has a sorrow, thinking of his grandfather, who passed away 1 year ago. And so, let us sing. There's a joy holding on. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding on. I rest in this love. And now for our joys. Debbie Doucette says that she's so grateful for a beautiful sunny day on Easter. I think we all are. And Vicky has a joy, so happy to report that the summer produce project at FSU is now starting up again. And to feel free to sign up and enjoy some of the produce and also to share in our values in that world. And Diane Bassett also has a candle of gratitude. She is grateful for the members of the Interim Search Committee who are so graciously agreed to do the urgent and important work of helping us find the right interim minister to see us through the transition period. And last but certainly not least, Judy and Tom have a great joy that their first grandchild, Sophia Grace, was born on Friday. They say it's a very timely miracle, the miracle of new birth. And we also recognize that there are some joys and sorrows that are perhaps too great to share and remain unspoken in our hearts. So we light that one final candle for all of those, and also for all those people who do not have a community like this into which to share their joys and sorrows. So let us sing again. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding us. We rest in this love. Thank you. And I think now would like to find egg number 4, if it's somewhere around. Ah, great.
Egg number 4, time for contemplation. So let us now enter into our time of contemplation, meditation, and prayer. Feeling the support of this community, this building, this people, calling our attention back to our breath in and our breath out. O Spirit of life and love, named and unnamed, but who calls us each by our true first name, which is beloved. We give thanks for this community, this constellation of people gathered today for this beautiful moment in time. We give thanks for the joys of this community, for the people that make it go, for new life entering the world, for all of our stillness and all of our wiggles too, we give thanks. We know too that there are those in our midst who struggle, who live with mental illness, who live with addiction, who mourn the loss of loved ones. May they be comforted by our presence and our listening ear. May we work to bring peace to all of the war-torn parts of our world. We are a people that are human, and because we are human, we make mistakes. We slip up and trip up with our words. We put distance between us and others. But the good news is, because we are still breathing, there is always time to enter back into a right relationship. By taking a breath and saying, I'm sorry. How can I do better? I say these words and do all things for love's sake. And now we enter into a time of further contemplation where your only duty, the only thing on your list, is to do absolutely nothing, to sit in the silence however you find it. May this silence that has held us here be something that we know that we can return to whenever we need it the most.
And I think now, does somebody have egg number 5 by any chance? Ah, great.
Egg number 5, invitation to the offering.
Well, we are a loving people, and we are a giving people. We covenant freely and compassionately to share our faith, our presence, and our resources. We give of ourselves to support this, our own self-governing and self-supporting community, and its essential work in the world. Together, we transform lives through our time, our talent, and our treasure. So this Easter morning, I invite you to say yes to that transformative work, our work of collective resurrection. But if this is your first time joining us today, you are our guest, and we invite you to let the plate pass you by. So now our offering will be joyfully made and thankfully accepted. What is given with love is received with gratitude. Thank you, Dean and the choir, and also to the bell choir for your beautiful playing earlier. Okay, I think we're up to egg number 6. Does everybody have egg number 6? Oh, great.
Whew, it's a good thing we planned this. Egg number 6, the homily. There's a story millions, if not billions, of people are hearing this day. A brown-skinned man from a marginalized group is taken hostage. He's taken away from his family, a mob shouting for his punishment, and a tyrannical leader who could save him chooses not to. He is punished without due process and sentenced to certain death. There are thousands of people, actually, that I could be speaking about today. I could be speaking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia from Maryland, who is detained in a prison in El Salvador. There are probably thousands of other people whose names I do not know. I'm also talking about Jesus. We do not know how Kilmar's story will end, but we do know how Jesus' story ends. His story is that on Palm Sunday, he triumphantly enters Jerusalem. Palms are waved, and a parade that is actually a mockery of Pontius Pilate's military parades happens. Jesus has his Last Supper with his friends, a practice that in time becomes known as Holy Communion or the Last Supper. And he gives a new commandment to his disciples to love one another. He is then captured, and his sentence is given as death. He is crucified, his body is placed in the tomb. Some stories tell of how he descended to hell, how he liberates all the souls of those who were condemned, an act of universalism, if ever there was one. And in the Gospels, we hear this end to his story. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome brought spices so that they could anoint Jesus' dead body. Very early on, in the first day of the week, just after sunrise, they came to the tomb. They were saying to each other, "Who will roll away the stone from the entrance for us?" When they looked up, they saw that the stone was rolled away, and it was a very large stone. Going into the tomb, they saw a young man in a white robe seated on the right side, and they were startled. But he said to them, "Do not be afraid. I know you're looking for Jesus the Nazarene, the one they nailed on the cross. He's been raised up. He's no longer here. You can see that for yourself, that the place is empty. Go on your way. Tell his disciples and Peter that he is going on ahead of you to Galilee. You'll see him there exactly as he said." So they went out and fled from the tomb, for terror and amazement had seized them. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. Friends, if we search for that kind of resurrection, it is likely that our search will come up empty, often. In my senior year of college, the minister of my home congregation invited me to lead the Easter sunrise service at our congregation. And this was my first time actually attending an Easter sunrise service, I believe. So the place that we were having the service, we did not know exactly where the sun would come up. So we got to the very end of the service, and instead of having a glorious sunrise over the trees, it was more like a dull glow. The sunrise will not come streaming in. It will be more subtle. And I think if we only search for the most brilliant of sunbursts, we will come up short. We will need to look for more subtle things. Maybe it will have to be more what Wendell Berry says in his epic poem, Manifesto, the Mad Farmers' Liberation Front, where he invites us to practice resurrection. Not witness it, not be the resurrection, but practice it. We see it as the flowers spring forth. We see it as the buds poke their yellow-green heads out of the tips of tree branches. Mary and others, they found the implausible resurrection there in the tomb. Where can we find our resurrections? The things that we hope for most, when things seem to be at their deepest and their saddest, our darkest. Where can we find hope? I encourage you, if you cannot believe in bodily resurrection, to look at this as a metaphor. How do we do that? Well, Walter Brueggemann, a great theologian of our day, reminds us that Easter is not a spiritual event, but a surging of power that touches all life. The Easter question for us is not whether or not you can get your mind around the resurrection, because you cannot. Rather, the question is whether you can permit in your horizon new healing power, new surging possibility, new gestures, new ways of power in an armed and fearful world. New risk, new life, leaping, dancing, singing, praising the powers beyond all controlled power. What I think Brueggemann invites us to do with these evocative words is to search for similar events in our life, the smaller signs. We know of this story because of what women preachers have preached since that day. We know of this story because of the prophets of this day, and the place of prophets in this world is so crucial in this day and this time. I return to further words from Walter Brueggemann, who says that the prophet engages in a futuring fantasy. The prophet does not ask us if the vision can be implemented, for questions of implementation are of no consequence until the vision can be imagined. The imagination must come before the implementation. Our culture is competent to implement almost anything and to imagine almost nothing. The same royal consciousness that makes it possible to implement anything and everything is also the one that shrinks imagination, because imagination is a danger. Thus, every totalitarian regime is frightened of the artist. It is the vocation of the prophet to keep alive the ministry of imagination, to keep on conjuring and proposing future alternatives to the single one that the king wants to urge as the only thinkable one. The king is always afraid of the prophet, and the king is always afraid of the artist. And I think that this resurrection of Jesus is an important invitation. We are all imaginers, and we are all prophets. We are all part of this ministry of imagination. My friends gathered here, this is the time to tap into our deepest prophetic imaginations, to imagine a new way of being, to practice resurrections. This is the work that we will do together. It might not happen in a glorious sunburst. It may be duller and a little less spectacular, but we should hope for nothing less. May it be so, and amen. So I think I am looking for the oddly named Egg Sevenly.
I think that's the one.
Is that correct? Yep. Why do they call it Sevenly? That's a great question, Ben. I'm glad you asked. We are human, and we made a typo.
Does everyone have Egg Sevenly, though? This is the question. Okay. Do you want to read out what it says? From the mic, though.
Hymn 61. Lo, the earth awakens again.
So let us rise.
Great hymnal.
benediction is by the Reverend Dr. Kendall Gibbons. The humanist speaks of Easter. I do not believe that the crucifixion is a story with a happy ending or that it was a one-time event. It happens over and over as the human journey unfolds. It happens to us and to the people we love. It happens to the righteous and the innocent. Crucifixion happens and it feels like the end of the world. It feels like nothing could matter anymore, ever. And then inevitably and miraculously, something happens next. Something happens. Of course it does. Because the world hasn't ended yet. It's not always an empty tomb. How trite would that become? Mostly, the beloved bodies just lie right there. But something happens, and whether we want it or not, a new chapter begins. Maybe the sun comes up, or the lilies do. Spring rolls around, that happens, or memories come, or someone needs you. Hope rises, communities rise, you rise, we rise. Not just because death isn't real, crucifixion is not just pretend, but something else is just as real, maybe even more real. Something happens next. That is the other thing we know for sure. Life rises, outrage rises, love rises, faiths rise, tears rise, and hope rises. This I do believe. So we will extinguish our chalice. And we will sit and listen to the Easter entrada, and then it is time for our Easter egg hunt out in the courtyard and in our parish house.